We understand that there's a trust gap, and
our full commitment is for the development to reflect the surrounding communities.
I've been really disturbed by the equity washing in this project's marketing materials, and I believe they obscure the content of its legal documents. This rezoning application shows a vicious disregard for equity and fairness. The application's refusal to acknowledge and mitigate the upheaval and damage that this project will bring to our social fabric is not healthy for our city.
I'm concerned about the way the public has been engaged. I won't say so much the amount of engagement, but the way the public has been engaged. I'm concerned, even the condition that was added about community engagement, I think that's great, but the wording troubled me a little bit because it seems like it was, we're gonna go to the community after we've developed the site plan to get their feedback. For me, that's community, that's public informing. That's not public engagement. I think true engagement would be the community is actually involved in the development of the site plan.
But I do absolutely 100% agree that the way this has gone about, right, without engagement of the community, it just shows this importance of valuing people and just as much as you would value investors, if not more. I just find this whole thing disappointing because I think that there is general opportunity here for Raleigh, but you can't do it at the expense of people.
This case is lacking in addressing affordable housing and equitable development as it relates to employment, housing, access, the use of transportation, etc. And I'm really concerned in particular with the items that are lacking, that words that are being used by the applicant are things like good start and if the process proceeds. And there are many conditions that are missing that we've all stated before, including community benefit agreements, conversations with the community participation in setting their goals related to that, affordable housing, workforce development and hiring, honoring the National Registered Spaces and the history of the Black community that this will impact, and expectations around what a sports venue will look like.
When I was going over this yesterday, I kept going back to the city's statement on equity, which reads in part, the city of Raleigh is committed to establishing and advancing an equitable community for all. Because we know that race is a primary indicator of a person's outcomes across all social indicators and societal systems, the city of Raleigh will prioritize racial equity to dismantle the policies and systems that have created and sustained these inequities. It ends with Raleigh aspires to be a model for equity in local government. I think that's an admirable statement. I think we have an opportunity to live out that statement through this process. I don't think we're doing it. I don't think we have done it. I don't think we're headed in the direction of doing it. And I think this process, this rezoning, underscores those policies and systems that the statement itself talks about that have created and sustained these inequities.
Additionally, I feel like the Planning Commission has, been received pressure to move this case along in an extremely expedited manner, which we have tried to honor over the last 6 weeks. But as this application stands now, it's just not fully developed for its size and its impact on the communities around it and the city as a whole. And I feel like at this point, I would not be able to support the case. And I feel that strongly that a vote in favor of this case would be a vote against equitable development for the city of Raleigh, and would be a vote against the principles in the comprehensive plan that we as a city and our council has said we are setting these expectations for growth and development in our city as it relates to equitable development.
I'd like to make a motion to deny Z1320 as it is not reasonable and in the public interest in its current form. It is inconsistent with comprehensive plan policies related to zoning and infrastructure impacts, transportation impacts, level of service, zoning for housing, and equitable development. To achieve consistency on a project of this scale requires further development of outside agreements. Some of those agreements and technical revisions to the conditions might include additional clarity of development intensity and impacts on areas A and B specifically, associated transportation infrastructure improvements to address that development intensity, additional public benefits, including increased affordable housing, public amenities and public programs, workforce training and local hiring, elements to honor the historically Black communities in the area, and additional community involvement in design and decision-making and prioritization of infrastructure improvements. Additionally, this motion includes a recommendation for the development of policies to address the approval process for large development projects seeking public partnership or public subsidy. This may include and take the form of policies related to development agreements, special assessment districts, additional information about tax increment grants, or similar.